Tuesday afternoon. Now, as I was saying, you're going to hear lots about the upload, the way you can send us your material and make our programmes for us, because my sofa guest today uploaded some of the illustrations onto our brand new upload page. And looking at those, we thought, well, he has to come and tell us more. So please welcome James Garden, who owns West End Music in Ipswich, a music shop, and been there for quite a few years now, has it not?
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's been a music shop for about 20 years. I've been there for 16 years. I think it was another music shop before that.
So, okay, so yeah. It's sort of in the consciousness of everybody in Ipswich.
I'd like to think so.
First started doodling, and as I say, I don't think it's doodling, but we'll talk more about that in just a minute or two. And when you did it, you found that it helped with depression, anxiety, and made a whole difference to you, didn't you?
Yes, absolutely. Before I started, I was literally at rock bottom. Like, didn't see a future, didn't look forward to anything, and I think I'd seen a music video that was animated and just thought I'd like to give that a try. So I just started scribbling and found that helped me almost distance myself from the outside world and all my worries.
So it sort of happened by accident in a way. You just suddenly found it.
Yeah. I mean, I liked drawing when I was in school, but I didn't really do any more drawing until like 3 years ago. I'm 35 now, so yeah, quite a long time ago. But yeah, I found it very therapeutic, very like a nice way to just relax and unwind after a long day.
But it became more than that fairly swiftly, didn't it? Because people have commissioned you to do the work, and we're going to talk about the book that you've just illustrated as well.
Yeah, I'd drawn quite a few pictures over a few months, and I didn't share them because everything I'd seen, or a lot of things I saw online, are very negative, and it is scary to put yourself out there. And then I drew a picture that I was really happy with, and I thought, you know what, it doesn't matter if no one else likes it, because I like it, and that's really what matters. And I put it out there, and then the response was incredible. Like hundreds of people messaging me and following my page from there on.
Wow. So, and did you explain anything, or just put it out there? Did you say it was something that was helping you as well, or did you just put this picture out there? At first I just put the picture out there, and then probably a couple of days later I actually put why I'd been drawing and why I decided to suddenly put it out there, and to try and encourage other people to do the same thing. You know, if they've drawn something or created something that they think no one else will like, it doesn't matter. As long as you like it, then that's really what matters. Was that quite a big thing for you? I mean, for most of us are scared that no one are going to like stuff, aren't they? But for you, who'd been feeling so anxious about stuff, to actually think it doesn't matter, that's quite a big thing, isn't it?
I remember doing it and then basically throwing my phone across the room and being like, right, I'm not going to look at that now. And then it wasn't until like 5-6 hours later I went on there, and I think I had 100 likes in a few hours and about 20 comments and people relating to the image as well. So yeah,
what was the image? What was it? Can you remember or not?
It was, I believe it was a person standing in the rain with a hood on, looking really sad with loads of raindrops hitting them. I think that's the one anyway. There's quite a few of them now. So.
It's fantastic. And just explain how you do them, because you do this, I mean, on a pad, don't you? So you do it on a tablet.
So I use an iPad. When I first started, I was using an app called Sketchbook Pro. About a year later I got an iPad Pro and was recommended to try an app called Procreate, which is incredible, like the things you can do with it, and it's just so easy to do as well. You do have to pay for it, but it's a one-off fee, and then you don't pay any more.
Well, but if it's and how do you actually do the drawing? Because I mean, we'll put a link online and people and talk more about the book and so on, and we'll explain about how you need people to crowdfund it and why in a minute or two. But they're they're proper pictures, aren't they? They're not like just one-line drawings.
No. I mean, a lot of the time they start as one-line drawings, and then you just fill in all the gaps
and colour it in.
yeah, absolutely. And when I first started drawing, it was on an old iPad, so I was just using my finger.
Okay.
So just like touching the screen, like wiping my filthy hands all over it. Now I use a stylus, so it means I can be a little bit more precise than just using a finger. But even you can download apps on your phone that are similar, where you can just sketch using your finger, and I hear a lot of people say they're therapeutic as well.
Yeah. Well, but it's really interesting, because it's only in the last few years that people have talked about, I mean, they talk about colouring in as being therapeutic, and did you find that it? Explain how it affects you when you're drawing and how it helps.
It's almost like meditating. Like the sound you get from the stylus hitting that screen is very therapeutic. I can't explain why, but it does send me off into a bit of meditation, where I'm only thinking about that drawing and not about any of the other things that have been worrying me. yeah.
So tell me about the book, because and we'll talk about some of the other commissions. I know people have got in touch and asked you to work for them.
Yeah.
And this one, Jason Alexander, who everybody hears here on BBC Radio Suffolk, specifically as we're talking Planet Suffolk these days, but he got in touch because he saw some of your work?
Yes, yeah. I'd seen, over a few weeks, seen a lot of the things that Jason was doing with rubbish walks, and it was just inspirational to me, seeing someone putting that much time and effort into doing that and to increase awareness around pollution and litter. And I just shared one of his posts, and it happened to be that day that I shared it that he'd been thinking, right, let's get the book together. And then from there, looked at all my artwork and thought, this is what I wanted. So it's all fell together perfectly.
So he's written a book.
He has, yes.
Okay,
yeah,
and you've done the illustrations.
The illustrations, yeah.
And what's the book about?
So it's Blip and Boom crash on planet trash. So it's about two aliens that crash their ship on a planet that is just filled with rubbish, and have a little adventure on the way and have to try to figure out how to get off that planet.
And the idea is that you want to get every primary school in Suffolk to have one of these books, is that right?
As many as possible, yeah. We went out and visited the students at Birchwood Primary School to discuss the book with them as well, and the work that they're doing.
They're doing amazing stuff, as we've heard
incredible.
this week.
It's so inspiring, yeah. I had no idea. But if we can get that message out there to as many youngsters as possible, then that'll be incredible. Jason's going to have a few little bits and pieces in the book where he talks about how you can, recycle or clean up after yourself.
I think when I listened to the video you've put out as well, that there are 10 at the end. It gives you 10 ways that you can do your bit as well for the planet.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, what's your ambition between the two of you? You've got to get it produced. Is that, and that's why you're crowdfunding?
Crowdfunding to get it printed, but also to cover all the copies that we send out to all the primary schools, hospices, or anywhere that will have us, really.
And as with crowdfunding, you can, if you give a small amount, you'll get a certain sort of perk in return. But if you give a lot, you might get a decent return. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I think it was for any donations over 300. Jason will go out and spend the day at a primary school of your choice, and do various workshops with the kids.
Fantastic, because of course he is coming out of retirement as a wildlife gadget man as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
I noticed that. So he does his rubbish walks, but he's also a bit of a whiz. And this is how we first got to know him many years ago. He's a bit of a whiz at putting cameras in bird boxes and all sorts of things as well.
Very
isn't he?
talented. Yeah.
Yes. So that would be quite an asset as well. So do you know how you're doing on your crowdfunding page?
We're at 96%.
Wow.
We've got, I think it's £115 left to go to reach that target. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Which was 2,600. And then, any other donations other than that just means we can get more and more books out to schools and get more copies printed as well.
Okay, so over and above we can start. Then will people be able to buy it?
Oh, yes, yeah, we'll have it up for sale. We haven't quite discussed the avenues for that, but there'll be various shops that you can buy it from.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and are you publishing? How are you doing that publishing? Self-publishing?
It's self-publishing. Yeah. We've got the guys down at Gipping Press helping us out with that.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. Isn't it exciting?
It's so exciting. Yeah. I mean, I never thought that I would be at this point. 3 years later after that, sharing that first picture, and now illustrating a children's book. Yeah, it's incredible.
Well, and you wrote in your notes to me something I'm going to quote back at you. I hope you don't mind this.
Yeah.
To be quite honest, back in 2017, I didn't think I'd be here still, let alone working on a children's book. Did you felt that bad?
Yeah. I at that point I'd come to work, but I dread coming to work and I dread going home. And there was a moment where I thought, I don't really look forward to anything, and just trying to find ways to just keep on fighting. And then luckily this came around. I'm incredibly lucky that my family are very supportive, and I've got a big group of friends that are very supportive. And it was when I started doing this and opening up to people that they then open up to me, which encouraged me to open up more and get other people talking about their mental health. Because as soon as you get it out in the air, it definitely helps, rather than just keeping it all locked away in your head thinking, this isn't quite right. Yeah.
I mean, do you think it is right that men find it harder to talk than women? I mean, it's a bit unfair that.
It's
one of the things that people say, isn't it?
I've spoken to a lot of men that do find it very hard to talk and open up, and I'm very lucky, like being where I am at West End Music. I'll have people coming into the shop and they'll open up to me, which is really lovely, and just being there to listen to someone talk about their problems just means a lot to someone.
Yeah, it's fascinating, and it's fascinating how this has really helped, isn't it? And I know that's one of the messages you want to get across, that it can be just the littlest thing that can make that difference.
Absolutely, yeah. I know people that do the same with music, and for a long time with me, music worked, and then it just I got to rock bottom, and it just wouldn't quite bring me back. But having this that I can just focus on and have nice things said about me, really. Yeah, it does help a lot.
We'll talk more in a minute or two, because I know you do fundraising for 4YP, which is an amazing organisation that helps young people, isn't it?
Absolutely.
But Suffolk Mind as well, you've done stuff for.
I used to donate all my profits to Suffolk Mind, and now it's I donate them all to 4YP. I've been down there a few times and visited them. So any print sales that I make, I'll donate a chunk of that to them.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's a great story. Now, something that you have to do for us, which we've started doing for the last week or so. You have a confession or two. Now, one of these confessions, it's 3 confessions. One of them is true. This is just for a bit of fun, really, and to hopefully persuade people to stay listening till the end.
Yeah.
So one of these is true, and 2 of them are not. See if you can work out. Just you read the 3, and then we'll see if people can have a guess and see which one's the real one.
Okay, so my surname is Garden because as a baby my granddad was abandoned in a garden. He became a Bernardo's baby. Or I have no idea how my surname came about, but I can tell you I'm a distant relative of the comedian Graham Garden.
As in the goodies?
Yes.
Graham Garden, okay.
My surname Garden is thought to have a French connection, something to do with garde, meaning train station of.
Which it has Gare du Nord.
Gare du Nord.
So Gare du Nord. Maybe that's family was born in the Gare du Nord. Okie dokie. Guest with us here on the programme, James Garden. Now, as you run West End Music, what sort of guitars were they? Could you tell?
There'll be a Spanish guitar or a classical guitar.
Is that
like nylon string?
How many
guitar.
strings?
It'll be 6 strings.
6 strings.
Yeah.
You can get 12, can't you?
You can get 12 strings. I've seen 10-string guitars as well. All sorts.
All sorts. There's many string guitars. But you can play guitar, can't you?
I try to. Yeah, I do okay on guitar. Yeah.
So that was sort of quite catchy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But apparently Despacito, I looked it up, means slowly.
Okay.
Although it doesn't sound slowly, does it? It's meant to be about sort of a bit of seduction.
Yes, yeah.
And so I did do a bit of research. So next time I play it, I should know a bit more about what I'm talking about. So we're talking to James Garden. He came through. He used our new upload system. Was it easy?
Yeah, nice and easy. Yeah. I keep meaning to do another one with a little video just to update on there, but really easy to upload.
And you can upload any sorts of material, so sound, pictures,
video. Yeah, it's very easy to do. It took me about 2 minutes to put everything on there. So
it's fantastic from our point of view. So anyone who's got something they want to tell us about, or whether it's blogging, talking, playing, then and we thought the minute we saw it, we'll get him in as a guest. And there's lots more later on today as well. So upload, it's bbc.co.uk/upload. You have to put do you put your postcode in or select Suffolk?
Oh yeah, I think I put my
otherwise
postcode
it could go somewhere else.
Yes, you have to put where you are, Suffolk. Yeah.
So we want it to come here. So and that's just, it's just such an easy way. And you sent through some of your illustrations. You call them mind doodles, don't you? Is that right?
Yeah. Mainly because they helped my mind, and at the start they were just doodles, whereas now I kind of look at them as artwork. It took a long time to be able to say I'm an artist. Probably about a year of just scribbling madly before I kind of accepted that.
So that's fascinating that that it took the time for you to really believe what people were telling you.
Yes, it's always been hard for me to take compliments. It's only in the last couple of years that I can kind of accept it and be like, okay, and actually think quite positively of myself again, which is lovely.
And you found, in a way, you found something that you love doing and that you can do as well. Do you think you were always searching for that?
Yeah, I think so. I was always trying to find that one thing that I could be good at, really. And I'd never thought that I could draw, and people still say to me now, like, I wish I could draw, and I always point out, well, I couldn't 3 years ago, but if you're drawing a picture or 5 every day, you soon learn how to. So.
Is that how many you'll do a day now?
It used to be about 4 or 5 a day, and it would take me 2-3 hours to do them. Now it takes more 2 to 3 days to do one picture. And in 3 years, it's 1,400 pictures in 3 years. So.
And what do you do with them?
I generally upload them to my Doodles Facebook page, Instagram and Twitter. I also have a backup online because I know not to just trust the iPad to store all my pictures. And some of them I will get printed, like some pictures I just completely fall in love with, and I'll get them as a print. So my bedroom's just covered in pictures that I've done.
Wallpaper.
Yeah. And putting them on the fridge as well. My housemates are proud of me.
So they come in and say, "Is this your latest work?"
Yeah.
So have you considered actually putting your name across them or something, so that, because I guess anyone can print them off if they're on your Facebook page. Have you started to think of owning your own work?
Because I'll sign everything, but it was at one point someone was saying you should put a big watermark across the front, and I was like, I do see that, but I do want the pictures to be accessible to everyone. At the end of the day, I've had a few people say, "Oh, I've printed off this picture," and I'm like, well, if you ask permission first, that'd be nice. But then I thought, well, if they connect to that picture that much, then it really doesn't matter to me. If they print it off and they have it up on the wall, we'll take it as a big compliment. So.
I was going to say, it's a huge compliment, isn't it? Do you think would you like in the end to be just doing that? Can you ever imagine that happening?
It's something that's been on my mind for a while, or even if I was part-time at West End Music and then doing this. I mean, obviously, we'd all love to, I'd love to be sitting on a beach somewhere, like possibly in Australia, just drawing and then uploading them, but yeah, there might be a little ways off before that happens. So.
But you never know, do you?
No.
You didn't imagine what was going to happen now,
You don't know what's going to be around the corner, certainly.
Tell me, because was it an album cover that you've done a commission for?
I did one for the Ipswich-based band Hope Ahead. They messaged me and said, the guy John I was speaking to had suffered with mental health issues himself, and I listened to the song and he told me what it was about, and I really connected to it. So straight away I was like, I know exactly what I'm going to draw for this. And first time I sent it over, it was like spot on. And he's been a big support over the last couple of weeks. And it's nice to have a band that wants you to draw album artwork, yeah, or single artwork. Anyone
else come to you and ask for it?
I've done a couple of posters for Extinction Rebellion, for local Ipswich-based events for them, because again, a lot of my pictures are sort of pollution, climate-based, or quite a few of them are. So they kind of got in touch and said, "Can you just knock up a picture for us?"
Just knock up a picture.
Instantly stuff just comes to mind when they talk about what they're doing. So yeah, it's nice to get a few little commissions like that.
A lot of it strikes me when you look at it is emotion related. Do you think that's fair? That there is a feeling coming out of them. They are paint. Yeah?
Oh yes, yeah. I can look at a lot of the pictures and know exactly what I was feeling that day when I was drawing them. So what you'll notice with my pictures back in 2017, there's a lot of black and white pictures, very dark colours, whereas now there's a lot more brightness, colour. I always try to have, even in the very dark pictures, a little bit of hope or a little bit of light in there as well, because there is always a little bit of light somewhere out there.
Do you ever do any of the work without even thinking about the state of mind you're in, or is it still part and parcel of that?
Yeah. I will just think, or if I'm watching a film or something and think, I really like the scene in this film, I'm going to draw that, and just stuff that will make me happy as well and get lost in it. So there's quite a few Star Wars pictures in there as well.
Well, that's good. I like Star Wars. That's good.
Lots of Guillermo del Toro films, like all his little weird monsters. I'm massively inspired by that. And like the music video that I'd seen that inspired me in the first place, a lot of my style, I think I've kind of adopted from that. There was an animator called Jess Cope who had done the video, and love her art style. I've actually got a signed print by her up in my room, and it was when I messaged her to say, "Look, you've inspired me to do this." And I think this was after the first BBC Look East piece that they did, and she messaged back. She's like, "Oh, hey, how you doing? Oh, I have heard of you," and that blew me away. I was like, "Oh, she's heard of me." Yeah.
Would that be something feasible? I guess as you're doing things via iPad, could it be animated in the end? Would that be like a dream come true?
I've done some animation.
Have you?
Yeah, I did. I animated a music video for Ellie Tree, their song "The Fall." It's 2.5 minutes long. I think it took me about 10 months to do, so it's a long process. But I do dabble with a little bit of animation, but I've got to be in the right frame of mind because it's very repetitive and time consuming.
Do you have to, I guess it isn't as it used to be where you just draw each frame, which would have been how you do it for films. How do you do it?
Well, I actually do it that way.
You do it as well?
Stop motion, draw each frame. You can, the thing with working with an iPad is you work in layers, so you can then have your main picture and have the one piece or a couple of pieces that you animate and just move them a little bit, and then copy that layer and then keep doing it over and over again. But yeah, I do like animating, but it's a lot of work.
I think it's hard work as opposed to therapeutic work, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Because the strokes of a pen are slightly different to doing this precise.
Absolutely,
over and
and can
again.
be stressful when you've spent. I remember spending 8 hours straight working on an animation, and then you play it back, and it doesn't quite line up. So then you have to go back through and move everything around again, and yeah, so it can be frustrating.
Takes a lot of the joy out of it, I should think, as well.
It starts to feel a little bit more like work after 8 hours of working on the same piece.
So how much do you get to draw now?
So, because I work 9:30 till 5:30, so
That's at the shop, yeah.
Yeah. And I will catch the train in, so I'll draw 15 minutes
Where
each way
from?
on my
So
commute. I live in Needham Market.
Okay.
So yeah, 15 minutes on my commute each
On
way.
a good day.
Yeah, if I'm lucky. And then I'll come home, and generally I'll just start drawing, and then I'll draw until 11, 12 at night. The good thing, I live with my two best friends, and we can sit and chat while I'm drawing. I can watch a film while I'm drawing, and I don't feel like I'm separate from the room. I can still interact, but still draw. So yeah, it's probably 3 or 4 hours every day that I'm drawing. And like even now, I'm desperate to get home and start drawing again. So it's after 3 years.
What are you working on at the moment? Is it the same picture?
Oh, what am I? I've got about
Have
6.
you got various that you're in the
I've
middle
got
of
about
doing?
6 on the go. Let me refresh my memory. There's one. So there's one that I'm doing now, which is obviously not.
I love the
ideal
fact you
for
can
radio,
take it
but,
everywhere with you.
So
That's beautiful.
I'm gonna have a little guy up in this tree house here. Nice little sunset. But this is the bit when you're drawing the blades of grass and drawing each blade of grass individually.
So you do them individually?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that takes time. You can copy and paste bits, but I don't like to do that. I feel like I'm
feel like
cheating
it's
if I'm doing
cheating.
that. And
That's
then
really detailed when you expand it, isn't it?
the fact that you can zoom right in and it's still very
So you can
high resolution.
You could put flowers in there and all sorts.
Yeah, put a few mushrooms in there as well. Little brick wall, and been working on the house in the background.
So there's a tree. There's a tree to the left hand side.
Yeah, and
no
there's gonna
leaves
be-
on it. And so there's a tree house, a nice little tree house on top.
Yeah.
And the people going to be sitting. You've got
There's going to be 2
pencil
people
out,
sitting.
or not a pencil outline, but an outline of a couple.
Yeah, that's often like when I'm drawing pictures. There will be scribbles just to put the ideas down on paper. There's going to be a couple just sitting up on the tree, because one of the most inspiring things is love, and you see it all around, and because of that, there's always stuff to draw. But
There's a couple
generally-
really sitting close together. They're backs to you, but looking into the distance into
Yeah.
the sunset. Is that right?
Yeah. Mainly so I don't have to draw faces, because faces are really difficult. I'm getting there though. Lots and lots of practice, but that's like how my ideas come to
That's
me.
like a pencil sketch,
Yeah.
but
I will
it's
just
very fine, isn't
Scribble, and then you can turn the
Is it a
brightness down on
waterfall?
that. It is, yeah. And there's
it? Phew,
going
I'm
to
glad I got that right.
be yeah,
I'd be in
going to be a
serious
couple
trouble.
of people hiding in the waterfall. But I'll go over each of these bits and draw them in little sections as well. But
And
if I-
where'd you get the inspiration? Where did you get the idea for a waterfall from?
Oh, I think that was from a song. They were talking about hiding in waterfalls, and I just thought, oh, that gives me an
another for
idea.
you.
And yeah, again, music, hearing one lyric in a song can just inspire a whole picture. Even like literally, like what they're doing, they're probably not really talking about hiding in a waterfall, but it looks nice as a picture. But I generally have 6, 7 pictures on the go at once.
Yeah.
And depending on what mood I'm in, we'll
As to whether
choose.
you want to do the painting side, or whether you want to do this finer sketching side, or the...
This is one way you wouldn't really know what that picture is, but I watched The Hobbit the other night, so I want to draw Bilbo's house in the Shire, and maybe me and a few friends visiting it, that sort of thing. But it does just start as scribbles,
Just an idea.
and as long as I don't forget what that scribble means, then I'm okay. It happens occasionally.
So you will come back to one and think,
Usually
what on earth was I going to
If
do
I wake
there?
up at 3 in the morning and have an idea, it's usually those ones that I don't really remember.
So tell me about your anxiety and your depression, because and you said I think it started when you were just about ready to leave school. Is that fair?
Yeah, I'd say sort of year 11 of school. Looking back on it, I felt like I was quite quiet, definitely in my own head when I was in school, and certainly didn't talk about how I was feeling, because back then, which was like 2000, 2001, like it wasn't the thing like people just didn't talk about how they were feeling, and the internet wasn't a big thing or as big then, so there was no way where you could really learn about it other than going to a doctor's or a counsellor. I did try counselling, but I didn't really get on too well with it. But yeah, it was just at that point of leaving school and thinking, I don't really know what I want to do. Everyone else I know is going off to university, and the school I was at, it kind of felt like, well, if you don't want to go to university, then see you later. We're not too fussed, really. So that was really difficult, and when you're in high school, you become very self-conscious anyway.
It's a really tough time, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah.
Because so much is happening. You're expected to know what you want to do with your whole future, aren't you? And you're sort of getting so that you're of an age when I don't know whether you look at your mates are out, you've got girlfriends maybe or whatever as well. So it's a really tough time.
I think I didn't realise that I wanted to work in a music shop till I was 21. And then I was like, oh, that's my calling. And then, 15, 16 years later, I'm still there, still love it, love all my customers. It's just a really positive place to work. But I used to think that was all I had. And if I lost that, then I'd be nothing, which from drawing has given me another avenue. So now I know that it's not the be-all and end-all.
It's quite scary, isn't it, to think that you're sort of almost looking for a reason for things in a way, or maybe, I don't know, looking for just a little bit of hope and or self-fulfillment. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just tough times, very tough. And did you in the end go to Mind and places? And did anyone else help you in the end before you found your own drawings?
It was mostly like doctors, and I was on medication for quite a while, and then I came off medication. I was good for quite a few years, and then it wasn't until maybe 5-6 years ago that it suddenly came back like a wave and just hit me, and went to the doctors again, and got put on mild medication, which did help me, rather from going from extreme ups and extreme downs, put me on kind of level playing field. But it was all these little things had built up, and there was a moment where I felt in the shop that was my snapping point, where I'd hired a PA system to someone and had kind of gone out of my way to help out, or felt like I had, and then came back and they weren't happy, and they were quite aggressive with it as well. And that was although that didn't cause it, that was the moment where it kind of snapped and lost all positivity. And couldn't really latch on. The guy I was working with had to listen to me talk about that for about 3 months, and just trying to process that. But it took me a long time to get over that one little moment, which just completely knocked me off my perch.
And I've had friends who've been really depressed, but thank goodness I never have. But it feels that almost once you go downwards, it's really, really hard to pull yourself back up.
It is, yeah, because you suddenly don't want to do the things that you enjoy, or I like to think I'm a fairly chatty person, but when I'm not feeling good, I'll be quite quiet. I can sit in a room full of people and just looking around like I don't have anything to contribute here. But luckily, with all my friends and everything, they know that if I'm quiet, I'm in my little space, and they won't be like, oh, what's wrong with you, and stuff like that. So they're lovely people. And
now, do you use the drawing as obviously, apart from thoroughly enjoying it, being really successful with it as well, can you use it as a tool to almost be helping you keep control of your depression? Can you use it as a tool, a coping mechanism?
Yeah, definitely. And it's just a way of summing up how I feel when I can't find the words that do it. And so I remember sharing a picture, and it was someone who was hanging by the leg from a tree over a black pit, and I was like, that's exactly how I feel, that I have no control, and I'm just about to drop in at any moment. And I remember sharing that picture and having a few people saying, this is exactly how I feel. And one lady said that she showed her husband and was like, this is how I feel, and I haven't been able to tell you how I feel, but this is it. And it helped her out a lot. Well, I hope it did anyway. Yeah, it seemed to at the time.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. We'll come back and we'll talk a bit about West End music, because that is your business, isn't it?
It is, yes, yeah.
I mean, you went there just to help, didn't you? And
I was part-time,
ended up owning the business. Would you have ever dreamt that would happen either?
No, it's 16 years I've been there now, and started off as a Saturday boy.
And now it's your own business.
Yeah.
On DAB Digital Radio. This is BBC Radio Suffolk.
So James Garden is my guest. Been hearing about the illustration work that he's done, the work that he does on his iPad, and how it's helped with his mental health. And we're just saying, it's Mind Doodles you call them, because that's how it all started, isn't it?
Yeah.
Facebook page JG Mind Doodles,
That's
that
right.
the place?
Yeah.
And from there you can go link to the crowdfunder, which is raising the money for the book that you've put together with Jason Alexander and so on, hoping to get it into primary schools, and then of course the more we can do the better, really.
Absolutely.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And you're really nearly there. And I will put a link to that. I've put a link to the film that you made, because Lucky's came and did a film, didn't they, of you as well?
2 years ago. It was my mum that actually got in touch with them. She's been a huge supporter of my artwork along with the rest of my family. But yeah, she spoke to Kevin Birch, and yeah, Kevin's absolutely lovely. Came and did a piece in the shop, and then actually last week he did another piece on me to basically say where we are now on the journey, and to talk about the book as well.
So it's and you said the first time you went from having hardly anyone know anything about it, and suddenly
it was 200 likes on the Facebook page, and then it went on BBC, and my phone went nuts and went up to about 1,200 overnight. But I couldn't keep up with the messages that were coming through. That was lovely.
Very encouraging, obviously.
It is,
really
definitely.
encouraging. So very quickly, so tell me about West End music, because you left school, didn't know what you wanted to do, and in the end you started work there. You realised that the music world was what you loved.
Yes, yeah. So I must have been about 20. So yeah, 2004 I started there. I was part-time, did Saturdays and I think it was Thursdays. Working alongside my boss at the time, Brian, and my manager, Paul. A couple of years later, unfortunately, because we were going through the recession, we had to make Paul redundant, and I went up to being full-time. And then 5 years ago, Brian decided to sell, and I think I thought about it for about 5 minutes before I said, yeah, that's what I'm going to do, because I love that place. Yeah, it's my safe place as well. Yeah.
But you love your music, and I know you think that all the people that come in have become your friends over the years, because I guess the same people return all the time, do they?
Absolutely, yeah. Some customers and even like employees now are just some of my closest friends. Brian, who still works there, semi-retired, he's my mentor, and I've known him for 15 years. He's known me through all sorts of thick and thins, and at a time where back then, I had dark black hair, wore nothing but black, piercings, tattoos, everything. He was the one that just did not notice that. He was just like, right, when can you start?
He saw you underneath it.
He did, yeah. He's been a big support to me.
So what do you hope for the future? I mean, is it music? Is it the drawing? Is it both together?
A little bit of both, I think. I'd like to think. I'd love to be sitting on a beach somewhere doing illustrations, or over in Australia, because I love Australia. But yeah, I'm not planning too much. I'm just seeing what happens, seeing what's around the corner.
It's worked so far, hasn't it?
Yeah. I'll just wing it. Yeah.
Well, good luck with the crowdfunding. I know you're nearly there, and we'll put a link on my Facebook page. We've just got one more bit of business to sort out. 3 confessions. My surname Garden is thought to have a French connection. True? False?
False.
I have no idea how my surname came about, but I'm a distant relative of comedian Graham Garden.
False.
Oh, you might be, you don't know.
We never know.
But true, my surname is Garden because as a baby my granddad was abandoned in a garden. Is that really true?
It is, yeah. So yeah, he was Bernardo's baby, but they gave him the last name Garden. My parents often say it's a good job he was abandoned in a garden, not somewhere less favourable.
Somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing, isn't it? So it makes sense, though. Did you know your granddad?
I knew him, but I don't remember him.
really.
It was a long time ago that he passed. Yeah, my granddad on my mum's side is again another big inspiration to me, but he passed away a few years ago. But he was all about love and kindness, and I think that's where I kind of get it from. Like I wish he could see what I'm doing now. I think on some level he knows. So.
Very proud of you as well. I'm sure your whole family are really proud. It's brilliant. It's lovely work, really is. So
thank you.
Everyone needs to go to your Facebook page and have a look. Good luck with everything you plan to do. Good luck with the book.
Thank you.
I'm sure you'll have exhibitions. I think we'll know your name in the future, as well.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Illustrating lots of books. And thank you for uploading, because it's been brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
Just hearing your story. And people shouldn't they? It's great to get the stories out there.
Yeah, and to give other people hope, and to take a chance and share what they love doing, and you never know what's going to come from it.
James, thank you very much.
Thank you.